Hey KU fans, welcome back to Sprint Center here in Kansas City, Missouri, where Kansas loses for just the third time in a Big 12 tournament title game, 78-66 to Iowa State in a game that, that's probably right. I mean, it probably was more like a 15, 16-point game. KU was never in it in the second half. They tried hard. They got it to 9 a couple times, but really Iowa State was just too much. Every shot Kansas missed was one that Iowa State made. And I mean, we're talking inches. You know, a lot of those Iowa State shots hit the rim and fell through. A lot of the KU shots hit the rim and fell out. That kind of day for all of them. Dedrick Lawson, Ochai, Marcus Garrett, Quentin Grimes. Didn't matter who you were talking about. Everybody missed a bunch of shots tonight, and Kansas couldn't get it done.
That 22-point first half really just, that killed them. I mean, Dedrick Lawson struggled city throughout the first half. What, 2 for 12 entering the second half, I think.
11, I think, but yeah.
2 for 11,
right.
Yeah. I mean,
felt like 20.
It did.
I mean, really.
I mean, it had to for him too. I mean, it was just like, if you didn't come out in the second half and have that immediate burst, I mean, there was just going to be no chance. And instead, they were turning the ball over early. Iowa State was scoring, and KU couldn't get stops. And I mean, from there, it seemed like it was a 15-point, 17-point game, and KU just couldn't ever cut into it. And Iowa State was just better throughout the night. And I agree, it did not feel like a 12-point game by the time it ended.
No doubt about it. What was odd was after the game, Bill Self said a bunch of positive things. One of them, this is as good as I've felt about my team all year long. Interesting. I get it. I really do. I mean, I thought his guys, on a day they could have quit, on a day they could have laid down when Iowa State was just rolling. And for a team that in the past this season has done that, they didn't. They kept fighting, they kept attacking, kept believing that, hey, sometime these shots are going to fall. They never really did. 3 of 18 from three-point range. You know, even with that and the frustration and the weight of that on their shoulders, they kept coming, they kept coming. I think that's what he means by feeling good about this team heading into next week in the NCAA tournament, because he believes his team now knows how to compete in March. They learned that here. They had a grind out a win against Texas. They had a toughness win against West Virginia, and then they fought today even though they came out on the wrong end. So you buying it? You think that's a fair assessment? I mean, he can say whatever he wants. It's his team. But do you think that's mind games, or do you think that's genuine?
I think it's mostly mind games, but I mean, to your point earlier, it probably does help them that they didn't just completely fold when they were down 17, because obviously that game at Texas Tech, there was kind of a no-show, as when Texas Tech came out, they were just destroying them, whereas on this night, they were able to cut it to 9 at one point, and I mean, they showed some fight, so that's promising. That's some progress. But I also just wonder how much of that is just Iowa State's not a very good defensive team.
Sure.
They've had letdowns defensively throughout the year, so it's a little bit easier to make that type of comeback. I think it seemed like Self was maybe kind of massaging their psyches a little bit. You know, like if he comes out here and is calling them soft and like we're terrible, that's not going to do this particular team any good. I mean, you can do that to a 1 seed that you're annoyed with the way they're playing. This isn't going to be a 1 seed. It's probably going to be a 4 seed, something like that.
Sure.
And, I mean, and honestly, that they're getting a lot of credit for stuff they did with players who aren't playing anymore. So they're going to be fortunate to be a 4 seed. If this had been this particular rotation the entire year, are they beating Michigan State? Are they beating Tennessee? Are they beating Marquette? Maybe
Villanova.
Not. So,
good point.
I think there's a little bit of like, all right, guys, I know you're down, but I like what I've seen this weekend. We got better this week.
Yeah, he did say that.
That's the message. So
I think so, and I think it already worked. I mean, Ochai Agbaji talking about it after the game. I think we have a run in us. I really do, a big run. Von Dotson, hey, what did Coach say? Hey, he said he was proud of us, you know, he said proud of our fight. I mean, these guys, that's the message they're leaving here with, and that's why he's a Hall of Fame coach. Because after this game, it'd be real easy for guys to walk out of here with their heads down, feeling like crap, and I don't think they do. I think they're disappointed. They wanted to win this. They wanted to get the ring. They wanted to have a Big 12 championship in the year the streak ended, but they didn't get it. But they're walking out of here with their heads up. Let's quickly talk about Selection Sunday, and then we'll come back on Sunday and talk about it some more. You say 4 seed.
Yeah.
I thought going into the day that they were a 3, win or lose. Okay. I still think they could be. I think some other teams, enough other teams, sort of on that 3 line lost this weekend and this week. I won't be surprised if they're a 4. I don't think there's any way they're lower.
No.
Right.
I think they would have had to like lose to Texas to drop down to the 5.
Yeah.
I thought like pretty much solidified it as a 4, and then if you happen to win the whole thing, maybe you jump up to that 3. So I don't know, that's just my theory. I think they're a 4 seed.
Yeah, that's probably what they are. Whether they get the 3 or not. If they get the 3, the reason they'll get it is
quadrant
resume.
1
yeah,
wins.
It'll be quadrant 1 wins. It'll be those wins you talked about over those teams that they beat with Udoka and Vic. If they get the 4, it's probably what they are, and they probably deserve a 4-5 game in the second round. They probably deserve, if they get by that, to have to play a 1 seed. That's been this season, and that's been this team. But I guarantee these guys aren't going to think they can't do either of those. They'll go fight, and that's what I think they learned here this weekend. So it'll be really interesting. We don't know where they're going to go. We don't know who they're going to play. We don't know what they're going to be seeded. It's the first selection Sunday that I can remember where that's been true on any of those levels. Usually we know where they're going in the first round. Last year, Wichita. The year before that, Tulsa. They could go back to Tulsa. They could not. They could be going to San Jose. They could be going to Salt Lake City. They could be going to Hartford. We're going with them wherever they go. And based on this tournament, it should be fun. These guys did learn a little something this week. Final thoughts, or do you want to just get the heck out of here?
Yeah, we'll be back tomorrow. Tomorrow's Selection Sunday.
That's
It's like the greatest time of year.
Good call. For Benton Smith, I'm Matt Tate. KU loses to Iowa State 78-66 in the Big 12 title game. 11-3 now in Big 12 title games. Nothing to cry about. We'll see where they're headed in the NCAA tournament tomorrow. Talk to you guys again real soon on another KU Sports Extra.